1965, my parents, Jack and Jamie Davies, came to Napa Valley from Southern California, and their focus would be on sparkling wine. No one in the States at that time was using Chardonnay or Pinot Noir, so the traditional champagne varietals, to make bottle-fermented, traditional method sparkling wines. And they carved out a beautiful niche, and we're very happy for it now, almost 50 years later. My parents chose to do sparkling wine for two specific reasons. One, they really liked the stuff, right? They enjoyed champagne, they developed an affinity for it in their kind of young married life. The other reason was really maybe more of a practical one. My dad saw a chance to do something that no one else had yet done. And he figured that if they hit the bullseye on that a long time in the future, it would pay dividends. And that initial thinking seems to have been good. In making sparkling wines, the vineyard, the grape, the initial input is very, very critical. And in our position at Schramsberg, we've evolved quite a bit in that regard. Initially, we worked with vineyards that are closer to where the winery physically sits, in the Diamond Mountain range or the northern Mayacamas range of Napa. And getting into the late 80s, we were starting to work with vineyards in Carneros. In '92, we started doing a little bit up in the Anderson Valley, and we came to realize that these cooler pockets, closer to the ocean, closer to the bay, that we were making better sparkling wines. And so that has led us from a time where we worked with a handful of vineyards in close proximity to our home property to today working with over 100 different sites. We're trying to always up the ante if we can. When we start the blending process each year, we first look at our tête de cuvées, so the J. Schram, the Reserve, the J. Schram Rosé. In 2013, we made 275 base wines. There might be 30 that play in that upper tier. And once we've identified those, we leave the rest aside. And so when we get to blending the Blanc de Blanc, the Blanc de Noir, the Brut Rosé, the larger blends, frankly, there are more lots that go in there, which gives them a great depth of character as well. In 1987, we would bottle our first J. Schram, the signature best effort that we do each year with Chardonnay as a Brut style. We wanted to take that next step to do something that just had not yet happened in California. And so we started with the J. Schram as kind of that singular tête cuvée. We continued by making the Reserve the best singular expression of a Blanc de Noir, so Pinot Noir as opposed to Chardonnay. As we evolved, we actually added a third tête cuvée. In 1998, we made a J. Schram Rosé, so that first tête cuvée rosé as well. And so we spend more time focused on that tête cuvée tier and trying to give the world an extraordinary expression, not from the Champagne region, but from a completely different part of the world. Changing the home property from Chardonnay and Pinot Noir to Cabernet, while as obvious of a step as it may seem today, it wasn't so much then. But through the winemaker's persistence in pushing my parents, we finally broached that topic for real. In '94, we started replanting our home property and really didn't look back. As the replanting began, we looked at a range of different varietals, but ultimately would focus on the red Bordeaux varietals. Cabernet, not surprisingly, became the key. We really loved the way the fruit tasted and the wines evolved as we got into it. More recently, we have started to do a little bit of Pinot Noir as a red wine with select sites in Mendocino County, up in the Anderson Valley, down through the Sonoma Coast, and back into the Carneros. So working with sites that are familiar to us from the sparkling program. As we look towards the future now, good news is we've got some kids, right? And they've got some cousins, and so we're doing our best to bring those guys up so that the winery will be in good hands, 30, 40, 50 years from now. We have a facility in St. Helena that has been renovated into a state-of-the-art red wine making facility to help us carry on with the family business and to build a nice platform for the next generation to continue on with.